Hello and welcome to This Week in Agriculture, a presentation of the Communications Unit, Ministry of Agriculture. I'm your producer and host, Christopher Holder. On this week's presentation, we bring you highlights of Minister Mustafa's activities over the past week. Highlights of those activities. We will be focusing primarily on his interaction with his Brazilian counterpart earlier in the week, as they discussed areas of possible collaboration of similar interests and so on, as it relates to working closer together in the promotion of agriculture for the two countries. We will also bring you highlights of the commissioning of an important facility for one of the partner entities working with the government of Guyana in the development in specifically agriculture. And in this regard, we're talking about the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. That organization commissioned its spanking new building in the agriculture compound at LBI, formerly Gaisuko compound. And we will bring you some of the highlights of what took place there. There are a few other activities, important interventions on the part of the Agriculture Minister, and of course we will bring those highlights to you. This Week in Agriculture is produced for television by Matrix Video Productions and Advertising, based in East Berbice. We will be back after these messages.
The Guyana Livestock Development Authority, GLDA, is advising the public that it is currently conducting a poultry disease surveillance exercise countrywide. The exercise is aimed at detecting the presence of avian influenza, Newcastle disease, and other diseases in chickens and ducks. To this end, the general public is asked to cooperate with our veterinarians when they visit your premises to extract small samples of blood from poultry, which will then be tested at the GLDA's Veterinary Services Laboratory at Munro. This national surveillance exercise is critical to Guyana's efforts at detecting and/or preventing the spread of any of these poultry diseases that can have devastating economic consequences to our local poultry sector. A message from the GLDA, Ministry of Agriculture.
The National Agricultural Research and Extension Institute offers specialized services to Guyana's crop farmers. We conduct research and provide extension and quarantine services to ensure Guyana's food and nutrition security, sustainable agricultural development, and income generation for our farmers. We assist farmers to adapt climate-smart technologies, and at a subsidized cost, farmers could now purchase shade plastic, shade mesh, and irrigation sprinklers to avoid crop loss from the effects of climate change. Our organic soil enhancers are inexpensive and a viable alternative to imported brands. Farm certification, import and export permits for agricultural commodities, soil testing, pest and disease management, among other services, are provided free of cost. Farmers can access quality planting citrus material at our 9 plant nursery locations. We are working with Hope Estate and other stakeholders to resuscitate the coconut industry. For more information, visit our website or call us on telephone number 220-2841, 220-5730.
On Wednesday last, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa participated in a virtual discussion with his Brazilian counterpart, Minister Teresa Cristina, and the Director General of the International American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, among others. The discussion focused on possible increased collaboration to improve the local agriculture sector. In his presentation during the more than 2-hour-long meeting, Guyana's Agriculture Minister described the engagement as both timely and of great importance.
The 2021 Food System Summit that is being conveyed by the UN is called a People's Summit because it is imperative that everyone work together to transform the way we produce, consume, and think about food. We are all connected to the national and global food supply chain. Currently, the food system does not feed everyone an affordable, balanced meal that promotes healthy and productive life. Trade is often imbalanced and excludes small producers. They utilize the natural resources in a non-sustainable manner and they are highly vulnerable to external shocks. As such, there is a global effort underway to transform our food systems and ensure that we are on a sustainable path that will continue to adequately feed us. The agriculture sector has a key role to play in transforming our food system. And we just heard the private sector commission chairman alluded to those roles that the agriculture sector has to play. However, both private and public actors in all sectors, finance, health, environment, tourism, education, human services, and social security, to name a few, have an impact on the way in which the food system functions, all stakeholders. We must therefore recognize the value of taking a more holistic view of our food system by adopting a food system approach rather than an individual sector approach. We can be more productive, more inclusive of the poor, more environmentally sustainable and resilient, and better equipped to deliver healthy and nutritious diet to all Guyanese. Transforming Guyana's food system will provide an environment where agriculture can continue to provide a good livelihood for many, not just farmers. The country can take advantage of emerging trade opportunities in agriculture, both regionally and internationally. And we have just heard the chairman of the Private Sector Commission stated that we can tap into the regional food market, where every year annually, the Caribbean community importing close to about between 5 to 8 billion US dollar in import. The country can meet its development goals by leaving no one behind, and everyone can have a healthy, affordable diets that promote good health and reduce non-communicable diseases. Today, National High-Level Dialogue in preparation of the 2021 UN Food System Summit offers an excellent opportunity for all, public and private sector, civil society, and our development partners to discuss, collaborate, and agree on actions needed to transform Guyana's food system. This dialogue respects a healthy diversity of viewpoints, which will be used to update the priorities for Guyana in the coming years in light of emerging challenges and threats to our food system. Challenges. And Madam Moderator, I want to say here that we have recognized our challenges not now, and we have heard the FAO chief economist alluded to some of Guyana's challenges. And I want to say that we have a history of recognizing challenges and addressing those challenges. And I want to refer to former President, His Excellency Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, in 2005, would have pinpointed or established a number of constraints that face Guyana and the Caribbean. And some of those constraints that he had mentioned, limited financing and inadequate new investment. And some of those challenges were mentioned just now by the FAO economists. And I want to say here as a government and as a people, we recognize those challenges over 15 years ago. And we have been working assiduously to address those challenges. And I think we have made a lot of stride, notwithstanding that over the last 5 years prior to August of last year, we have seen a pause or a decline of some of those progress we have made over the years. But from last year, August, we have seen an aggressive campaign to promote the agriculture sector, to advance the agriculture sector. And I think Guyana has made substantial developmental progress over the years. We have reduced the number of people living in extreme poverty, extreme income poverty, to less than 3% of the national population. GDP and GDP per capita has risen more than 1,300% over the last 30 years, and the increased incomes of the country and its people have generally resulted in improvement across most of the SDGs. Notwithstanding these achievements, and I want to say here Guyana still has many challenges to address in order to achieve the SDGs by 2030. The challenges are many, but solutions are also within our reach. Many of them are echoes in global discussions and the 5 action track identified by the UN to focus summit discussions and solutions. With regards to ensuring access to safe and nutritious food for all, Action Track 1, one of the main challenges that Guyana faces is food waste and loss. Estimates indicates that 20% of cassava, a main staple, 34% of tomatoes, and 30% of all fruits and vegetables produced in the country, are not consumed. We will seek to reduce on-farm and post-harvest food waste and loss by promoting the adaptation of harvesting, post-harvest, and storage technologies that reduce food loss. Notably, we are also addressing the issue of food safety through the now established Guyana Food Safety Authority. Under Action Track 2, Shift to Sustainable Consumption Pattern, we face challenges such as the increasing diet-related health conditions due to the increasing consumption of unhealthy food. And my colleague, Minister Dr. Frank Anthony, would have alluded to some of those in his presentation just now. We continue to promote the increase in the diversity, availability, accessibility, and affordability of safe foods that contribute to healthy and sustainable diets, especially, and Dr. Anthony would have mentioned these things, whole grains, legumes, and nuts, fruits, and vegetables. In Guyana, agriculture production accounts, and we heard the Private Sector Commission Chairman alluded to this, for 8.4% land use and 94.4% of freshwater withdrawals. A challenge therefore exists regarding impact that Guyana's current food system has on the environment, and ensuring that the current and expanding food production systems make efficient and sustainable use of the natural resources of the country, Action Track 3. Advancing equitable livelihood, Action Track 4, is important as we work to contribute to the elimination of poverty by promoting full and productive employment and decent work for all actors along the food value chain. Challenges regarding the unemployment rate, gender inequality, and unequal access to resources must be addressed. The COVID-19 has exposed the vulnerability of food production and distribution systems, especially to the most vulnerable and to rural population. It had also an indirect impact in the livelihood of farmers, fishers, vendors of agriculture, input food traders, and exacerbated other challenges such as the threat of climate change, building resilience to vulnerability, shocks, and stress. Action Track 5 is therefore necessary to address those challenges that threaten a sustainable food system. Roadmap to 2030. To overcome these challenges and achieve inclusive and sustainable growth and prosperity in Guyana, we must have a clear vision for Guyana's food system, an actionable solution that will lead us along a sustainable development pathway by 2030. Guyana and the Caribbean region will be working to ensure that our input into the Food System Summit is aligned with our strategic objectives and development strategies and informed by the solution and strategies developed through national and regional dialogue. Strategy for advancing agri-food system agenda. And here, Madam Moderator, I want to say that we have once again taken back our rightful place in the Caribbean community, where the President of Guyana, His Excellency, Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, who is the chief spokesperson once again for agriculture, he has put forward the food production and food security agenda during the 32nd CARICOM Heads of Government meeting last February. This CARICOM agri-food system strategy seeks to address a number of key areas which will drive the transformation of the agri-food system in Guyana and the region. These areas include, but are not limited to the complete removal of all technical barriers to trade, the implementation of e-agriculture strategy, investments in production, research and development, measures to promote de-risking of the sector, and the improvement of transport and logistics. Guyana vision for agriculture. The agriculture sector in Guyana plays a key role in the economy. In 2020, the country saw the agriculture sector contribute approximately 27% to the country's non-oil GDP, with rice, fisheries, sugar, and other crops being the most important export commodities. The sector remains an important contributor to the country's rural development, employing more than 12.1% of the country's population in 2020. Guyana's food system transformation is at the core of our development aspirations. Over the coming years, the government of Guyana will strive to ensure that all activities of our sectors and subsectors, particularly the agriculture sector, are geared towards the goal of transforming our agri-food system to be more sustainable. We envision a modernized e-agriculture sector with enhanced income, enhanced productivity, value addition, increased market access, and the production of safe and nutritious agriculture commodities that Guyana will produce for itself and the global market. We believe these actions will achieve the long-term transformation of Guyana's agri-food system in an oil-based economy. Transforming our food system in the context of an emerging oil-based economy is not an easy task. Indeed, volatile food price, changing consumption patterns, and social economic circumstances, external shocks, challenges with agricultural productivity, and the potentially devastating effect of climate change make it a very particular daunting challenge. Let us all make sure that we do everything within our capacities to ensure we take the necessary steps towards transformation. Let us work together to improve the management of every aspect of our food system. And here I want to acknowledge the significant support received from FAO and ICA in developing a blueprint for Guyana's agri-food system. We look forward to increased public-private partnerships and an increase in innovative solutions. Identifying solutions to address the challenges that exist will bring us closer to realizing the goal of the 2030 agenda. I assure you that the agriculture sector will play its part in ensuring Guyana is food secure and has a sustainable food system. I urge all of us to take heed of the urgency needed to address existing challenges. We must all play our role to secure a better future for all. I therefore encourage everyone in the public sector, private sector, civil society, academia, and our development partners to join in national discussion and share your ideas and join in Guyana's journey to sustainable development through healthy, productive food system. I once again wish to thank the FAO and ICA for their assistance as we seek to develop this blueprint for Guyana's agri-food system. Madam Chair, I thank you very much for your attention.
During the question and answer session, Guyana's Agriculture Minister Mustafa spoke of the budding private-public partnership in the effort to have farmers move to value-added production, agro-processing, etc.
I want to say that we have started this public-private partnership already. This year alone, we will be building close to 6 new agro-processing facilities around the country. And here we are looking to make these farmers produce more value-added. At the same time, we are working with the private sector to build partnership. For example, at Parika, we have a packaging facility at Parika, where very shortly we'll be working with some private sector company to run that facility with us, and we will be providing the necessary equipment, and they will be running it and help our farmers to package their produce and make it more value-added. So this is a work already started since last year, and we'll continue to aggressively pursue it. For example, in rural areas like Arnaputa in Region 9, Arnaputa in Region 9, St. Ignatius in Region 9. We are building agro-processing facilities in Caracara in Region 10, in Blackbush Polder in Region 6, in Leguan. So these areas, rural areas where farmers normally do does subsistence way of doing farming. For example, from the farm to the market, we are encouraging farmers with the private sector to take their produce to these facilities so that they can have more value for their produce, and at the same time also tap into the market, the regional market.
In responding to another question posed on what the minister saw as the single most important area of focus for his government, he said,
as a government, one of our key responsibilities is to ensure that our policies create an enabling environment that increases production and trade. We have done this with our budget 2020 and 2021. Additionally, the President has outlined these policies in the CARICOM Agri-Food System Agenda, which I mentioned in my speech. Also, yesterday, for example, we had a webinar where the President delivered a feature address on opportunities that exist in Guyana, where investors, large-scale investors can come, international investors can come to develop our agri-system and food system in our country. So we are working to ensure that we started that already. In addition, we are addressing trade issues, addressing international regulation of food, dispute resolution mechanism, and sanitary and phytosanitary measures to increase ease in tapping into emerging global market system and food system that I spoke about just now. And also we are looking at ways for de-risking of the agriculture sector, that is risk transform mechanism. Once the risk is not burdening the farmers alone, they will expand and tap into emerging markets, and that we are looking at to look at these barriers that are affecting trades within CARICOM. For example, we have an agreement, member states should have followed these agreements, but in some states we have one system and in another state we have a different system. Now, as the head or the chairperson for the ministerial task force in CARICOM, I am working aggressively with my colleague in the Caribbean to work to address those issues. So as Guyana, we are working for Guyana because Guyana has a very important role to play in the agriculture sector in the Caribbean, and Guyana will be the agriculture powerhouse in this part of the region.
Brazil's Agriculture Minister, Ms. Teresa Cristina, in her presentation lauded Guyana's plans for the establishment of the deep-water harbor, which she posited would assist both countries, but more so Brazil, with exports and trade in the region. On Friday last, Agriculture Minister Mustafa was the guest of honor at the commissioning of the new FAO head office in the Ministry of Agriculture compound at LBI. In her remarks, FAO representative in Guyana, Dr. Gillian Smith, said her organization is grateful for the support it has received from the Ministry of Agriculture and by extension the government of Guyana over the years, pointing out that the provision of the new building is another example of that continuing support.
So we've really appreciated all of the support and help that the ministry has given us with this. I remember, I think it could have been in January, Minister, I may get the date wrong, but we were having a little bit of an issue with the electricity, and I went and I spoke to you, and you were very quick to get this matter resolved for us, which really helped to push things forward and get us situated. The FAO is looking at, even since it's been here in Guyana, we have been looking at how we can support and expand the work that the government is doing and the people of Guyana are doing in agriculture, in forestry, in fisheries, in rural development. This building helps us to be able to support and provide the kind of work and the quality of work that is required by Guyana. It's also, I think, a recognition of the importance that Guyana is increasingly playing in the Caribbean, and it provides an opportunity for us to expand, to provide the kind of support that Guyana needs as Guyana is pursuing its development agenda.
Agriculture Minister Mustafa, in his remarks, reaffirmed the importance his ministry places on the productive partnership with the FAO.
And we have been working very closely with our international partners. And over the last 8 months, you yourself can testify to the gains that we have made in the agriculture sector. Today we are once again witnessing a renewed interest in the agriculture sector in Guyana and also regionally. Guyana is once again taking its rightful place in the region's agenda in terms of pushing agriculture, the agriculture agenda and food security. You know for a fact that we have had a history and a legacy of pushing agriculture in the Caribbean and in CARICOM. Our former president would have developed the Jack Dales initiative that was adopted by CARICOM, and those are still relevant today. And now our present president, he has put forward a document to advance the agriculture agenda and food security in the Caribbean that was again adopted by the CARICOM heads of government. As a result of that, we have seen a task force, ministerial task force was set up, and which Guyana is heading and pushing. And I am very optimistic that we, with the help of FAO and other partners like ECON, so we can develop a strategy to advance our food security agenda and try to see how we can resolve the issues of food problems and food security in the Caribbean. We know for a fact that over the years, the Caribbean community alone have been importing over between 5 to 8 billion US dollars, and we can tap into those markets with the help of FAO. So I want to thank the FAO. This is our commitment to international organization, to the UN organization. And you know for a fact also, we are the first country in the Caribbean that started the national dialogue leading up to the UN Food System Summit that will be held in September. So we are driving the food system, we are driving the food agenda, we are driving the agriculture agenda in the Caribbean. And I think that Guyana has a leading role to play in all these agendas. And I want to compliment, I want to thank the FAO. I know over the years you all have been a great partner to us. And whilst we are now developing other sectors within the agriculture sector, new crops, we will need the help of FAO. Things now we are looking to develop our aquaculture industry. We are now formulating a document so that we can launch the aquaculture, because there are great potential for aquaculture in the Caribbean and in North America, where we could tap into these markets. And we are now, very shortly we will launch that, the master plan. The president will launch that master plan, and we can now formulate a strategy for our aquaculture industry. Also, we are now also embarking on new crops, non-traditional crops, and you know for a fact that this year we'll start the trial in soya and corn. Over the years, we have seen our country importing about roughly approximately 25 million US dollars annually in corn and soya. So we are about to take that market too. So I want to assure you that we will continue to push the agriculture agenda in the Caribbean, in the region. We will continue to support organizations like the FAO International Organization, because we value these relationships, and we will look forward for your help, your guidance, and also your input into our system so that we can push the agriculture agenda and we can create food security for the entire region.
Well, that's all the time we have on this week's edition of This Week in Agriculture, a presentation of the Communications Unit, Ministry of Agriculture. Me, a producer and host, Christopher Holder. This Week in Agriculture is produced for television by Matrix Video Productions and Advertising based in East Berbice. Until next time then, be good to yourselves and to each other.